Hey everybody, this is Stellar Firefly, and in this video we'll be discussing the Walking Dead add-on. This add-on changes all zombie types into walkers, meaning that your server will have no more zombies with insane sprinting speeds. We'll cover not only how to install this add-on, but we're also going to start discussing these add-ons a bit because, well, let's face it, if all my future videos about add-ons do nothing but show the steps to install them, things are going to get pretty boring. But these won't be traditional reviews of add-ons, complete with feature demos and an X out of 5 stars rating at the end or anything like that. Instead, we're going to try to focus more on the technical aspects of the add-ons, what situations they may be used for, overall purpose, gameplay balancing and concerns, that kind of thing. In short, we'll just try to be more objective about them. The Walking Dead add-on was released by GTX Gaming user Jocks, so props to him. And while other Walker add-ons have been released in the past, he fixed this version to work correctly with the latest Epic 1051 and also Overclock R2 releases. I've taken a look at the code for this add-on though, and it appears generic enough that it should work with most any Epic 1051 or hybrid server, but note that I've not tested it with any other providers. Also, I'm not sure if Jocks has published the add-on anyplace other than the GTX Gaming forums. The actual installation steps are fairly straightforward and nothing beyond what we've covered in earlier video tutorials, but we'll go over it here just in case. First, we'll need to head over to the GTX Gaming forums and search for Walking Dead. Find the proper thread and click on it so that we can find the download link. There's currently an issue with the link, but if it hasn't been fixed by the time you watch this video, then no problem. You can just copy the URL and paste it into a new browser tab or window, and it'll download properly. Now let's check out the installation instructions and get an idea of what we need to do. It looks like we need to upload a folder from the zip that we just downloaded, and then edit our compiles.sqf file and make 2 replacements. Sounds super easy, so let's get to it. Even though we could use the tcadmin control panel to do the editing part of these steps, we'll just do everything through FTP because we'll have to use it anyway, at least for the uploading part. The first thing the instructions tell us to do is to upload the DayZ_code directory from the zip file right into our proper mission map directory. So let's find and open our downloaded .zip file and extract that DayZ_code folder to somewhere like our desktop. Then we'll fire up our FTP client and navigate over to our map directory. During the making of this tutorial, I've been testing out a certain hybrid mod on the Taviana map. Hint hint to you early viewers. So we'll navigate to that map. MP missions, DayZ_epic_13.tavi, and upload that DayZ_code folder that we extracted right into here. Next, it wants us to edit a couple of lines in our compiles.sqf file, so we'll open that up in the custom folder and, well, the normal method is to download the compiles.sqf file, edit it in your favorite text editor like Notepad++, and then upload it again. But those of you who followed my advice and are using WinSCP as your FTP client, or any other FTP client with a similar feature, you may have figured out that WinSCP has its own built-in text editor. So we'll actually just double-click the thing to open it up in the built-in editor. Then we'll just straight up copy and paste the text from the instructions. As always, because I like to be a good coder, instead of completely replacing the old lines, I'm just going to use double slashes to comment them out, and then paste the new lines right after with a comment. But it'll still work just fine if you completely replace the lines, just like the instructions told you to. And once again, I strongly recommend copying and pasting from the actual instructions, which will avoid a lot of headaches that can come from any typos. Now we'll just head on over to our tcadmin control panel and fire up the server again and test it out. As you can imagine, this add-on is a really simple one to test out. Just find some random zombie and go taunt him, and watch him as he aggroes you and laugh as he begins his lethargic shamble to catch you. So let's wander around a bit, perhaps head over to a major city where Zeds are sure to spawn, and go find one. Okay, we won't waste your time here forcing you to watch me as I run around for 10 minutes looking for a zombie. You all know by now that I don't make those watch what I do while I sit and talk type of videos. We'll just do some fast-forward style movie magic here and just flat out say, I found no zombies during this test. So, what the hell happened? Did we do something wrong? We can go back over all our changes and compare them with the instructions, and unlike probably most of you, in this particular case we actually have recorded video footage of the steps that we performed just so that we can play them back. And if you do that, then unless you're a veteran admin or experienced ARMA coder, chances are you probably won't notice a single thing wrong with how we set up this Walking Dead add-on. So what then? Is there something wrong with the add-on itself? In fact, there's nothing wrong with the add-on at all, and the real problem is actually rather insidiously difficult to figure out for first-time admins, which is why I wanted to be very specifically pointing it out in this video. I should probably take a minute at this point to remind all of you where to get help if you ever come across issues like this one, and you just can't figure out what's wrong on your own. The best place to first ask is probably the GTX Gaming forums, where I and other helpful players and admins frequent, as well as the GTX Gaming support crew themselves. Because this is technically a third-party add-on, you can't receive official commercial tech support for it, but you can always ask in the forums, and just maybe someone will be able to help you out. There are other forums as well that you might try asking in, such as the epicmod.com forums, so if nobody can come up with any help or answers for you in one of them, then definitely try out some of the others. Okay, back to our issue. So again, what the hell happened? As I mentioned, this is a confusing little issue that can cause a lot of hair-pulling in first-time admins because it's technically a quirk with the ARMA 2 scripting language. What makes it particularly insidious is that if you're a coder in other languages, there's a pretty good chance that it'll confuse you even more because you wouldn't expect it at all, and someone with zero programming experience may even spot it before you do. Let's find and open our compiles.sqf file again and find the changes that we just made. Here it is, and to most people, nothing may seem wrong. But in fact, the problem is that the two new lines that we just added are not indented like the other lines. So yeah, a little quirk in the SQF scripting language, and few other programming languages have required anything like this since, well, probably since COBOL. It's actually not a syntax requirement, at least not likely. It's more likely a quirk or a bug. Chances are it's getting confused with a particular type of line feed or something. But if we add any kind of white space at the beginning of these two lines, whether it's tabs like they normally should be, or maybe just an extra space or two, then this add-on actually works just fine. Let's make the change now, save it, and then fire up and test our server again. And oh look, a zombie. And he spotted us and wants to eat our brains. And he's walking on over to try and do just that, instead of zooming towards us like an Olympic sprinter. Awesome. Walking Dead add-on installed and working. Okay, let's talk about the add-on a bit. Clearly, this changes the dynamic of your DayZ server by quite a bit. Zombies are far, far less of an issue when this add-on is installed, so much that they're almost, but not completely, out of the equation. Note that it doesn't solve any of their glitchy behavior. They still do silly, engine-limited stuff like hit you through walls. Those of you who are thinking that this will change the game into a Romero-style horde of walking corpses experience, you may be sadly disappointed. In films like that, they make use of unrealistic movie conveniences to add tension and drama, but you'll see the real effect if you play DayZ with the Walking Dead add-on for even only a little while. Unless you already have hundreds and hundreds of zombies already out in the streets and shambling towards you, then it's actually easy to not get trapped anywhere. As long as you have at least just an axe or a gun with a few bullets. Just kill the few zombies that are blocking you and then run out. The dozen other zombies out there won't already be blocking your path because they're still walking towards you, and they won't be reaching you for another 5 or 10 minutes yet. So does this mean that this add-on sucks? Hell no, far from it. It just changes the dynamics of your game by a lot, but those of you who are looking for a server with that kind of dynamic will probably think that this add-on is totally awesome. For example, those of you who prefer a more bandit-focused experience instead of zombie survival, especially those of you who are using AI bandits that ignore the zombie horde, this add-on is a great way to level the playing field. It makes the game more of an early post-apocalyptic survival game without removing the zombie threat altogether. At this point, some of you are probably thinking that a great way to balance the slower zombies would be to have more of them walking around. A lot more. And I absolutely agree with you. It's actually possible to increase the potential number of zombies by tweaking your configuration files, but be careful. If more Zeds would have been possible, then you could be certain that they would have added more Zeds very early in DayZ's life. The problem is that the more Zeds that are in the game, the greater the stress on your server, and at some point, game response time is just going to suffer, most likely due to laggy mechanics such as stuttering Zeds, frequent pauses, or just a really slow frame rate overall. And this is especially true for the more popular and highly populated servers. In general, the more players you have on your server at once, the worse it'll perform with every additional zombie. However, it does also mean that those of you with very low population servers, you just might be able to add a decent number of additional Zeds without hurting your gameplay experience too much. Others of you may be thinking, how about instead of adding more zombies, we just make the few existing zombies more deadly? There may only be a few of them, and they may be as slow as snails, but what if each hit does way more damage and can potentially be deadly? Sure, that idea also works pretty well. In my opinion, it's not quite as cool as the massive horde of zombies idea, but it will definitely not kill your server performance to do so. And finally, a little extra note, because I know that some of you are wondering, how about if you just slow them down a little bit instead of making them always be at a terribly slow walking speed? Why don't you just make them, say, just jog or lumber around instead of that ridiculous outright full sprinting? I absolutely agree, again, and that would be a good solution. However, there doesn't seem to be an easy way to vary the zombie's speed. This add-on actually sets a speed value of 2 to make them walk, instead of the original speed value of 10 to make them sprint. The problem is that anything in between, like 3 or 4 or 5, is still a full sprint, instead of an in-between speed like you may expect. It probably has to do with fixed timing and animation frames or something. But yeah, maybe someday we'll figure out how to set arbitrary speeds like that. But for now, it looks like our only choices are a slow walk or a crazy sprint. Alright, I've droned on long enough. Let's go ahead and close out the video. But wait, some of you may ask, what if I want to combine this add-on with adding a bunch more zombies or with increasing zombie damage? How do I do that? Well, this video is just about the Walking Dead add-on itself, and it's already been going on for a while anyway. But if any of you want to see tutorials and discussions about those other types of changes, or anything else for that matter, then always feel free to let me know, either in the thread for this video tutorial in the GTX Gaming forums, or in the comments below. And as I get time to make more vids, I'll certainly give greater consideration to the topics that people have been asking for the most. In the meantime, thank you all for watching, and I hope that this video was helpful and informational to some of you. Please don't hesitate to like or subscribe if you feel so inclined, and as always, good luck, have fun, and watch your back.